we're putting Mosko Moto soft luggage bags on the Tusk rack for the Africa Twin. I believe pretty much all the Tusk racks are pretty similar in that they've got this nice spring-loaded pin that that holds the hard cases in place. And this pin gets in the way when you're going to mount the bags. In fact, I'll show you. The way the mounting plate for the Mosko bag sits, it sits on flat up against here. And though there is quite a bit of mounting room up front, these really want to go like right here. And it almost wants to fit, but it's not good enough. So you just need to pull this pin out, which is pretty easy to do, I found. And Mosko says this on their website, which is pretty nice. But it's just, they call it a circlip, but it's actually just a cotter pin. And yeah, can't pull that out a little bit. So we just pop out the little corners of the cotter pin here. Get it nice and flat, just like with any cotter pin. Find a screwdriver helps to get it started. Alright, there we go. Pop the cotter pin out, and then once that's out, this piece comes out, the spring comes out, and the washer. So just don't forget, if you're going to put it back together, or spring, washer, and then cotter pin goes on the outside. Pin goes through the center. Then you're left with this, and on mine, these are the pull cables are attached through it. And so if I was going to remove it, I would need to undo the crimp here. So I think instead I'm just going to take some zip ties, maybe some electrical tape, and some zip ties, and just hold it in position right here. So key thing here, as I just found out, is that you gotta make sure that it's behind the bar here, because the bag will interfere with the pin, or the pin will interfere with the bag if you don't put it kind of behind, motorcycle side of the rack bar here. So I'm just using a little bit of electrical tape to kind of get it into place, and then I'll grab a zip tie. And the zip tie does good to ensure things stay, and also kind of just holds the electrical tape in place long term. So once we've got the pin out of the way, it's just about putting the mounting plate on, and to do that, it's pretty easy. Just get the flat metal plate, two of the star drive lay flat bolts, and then I've gone ahead and put in some Loctite on the edge, blue Loctite, and then I'm going to come around to this side, and then it just goes backing plate here. And you can see again why we took out the pin that used to go right here, because this is the prime real estate. Of course, you could move this further back or further forward. I like having the weight of the panniers further forward, and so then you got to be careful to get these things started, because they do, I have noticed they do kind of tend to want to cross thread in the very beginning. It says really big in the instructions, do not use a drill for this, because you might cause damage, and I see why, because they seem to be pretty prone to cross threading, and using a drill is a fast way to make it go from bad to worse. But once you get them started, nice and smooth, and of course once you got the first couple on, it's holds itself up and goes pretty fast from there. So what I did is on the other side is just got all four of the pucks on, at least kind of more or less on there, and then got it to fit right. I've noticed for my Tusk bars that you need to kind of take a pretty mean lean to it to get it to stay level. So even though that looks funny with just the plate, once you get the bag on and everything, it tends to look better. So I'll get the other three pucks on and then tighten it up. Once you got it on, it's all about just getting in the right position. Like I said, I like it to be pretty well towards the back to keep it more upright. So that's as far as it goes. It hits the pin hole back there, and it hits there's a mount back here that you can see there. So that's as vertical as I can get it. I could move it over one spot and get it even more angled, but I think this will probably be pretty good. And then I can always move it later if I don't like it. And then it's just about tightening them up once I got all the plates on and all the pucks in. Key thing to note is you can get pretty wonky if you don't tighten these evenly. I like to put a finger on the back so I can just feel how far through I am so I can get it nice and even. Otherwise, you get the whole thing's kind of wonky. And like I said, I put in a little bit of blue Loctite. And you feel it tighten things up. So these don't need to be, you know, that tight. I would say, as far as a torque spec goes, it's a nice and tight, but not a cranking on it type of thing. For me, I do want to be able to switch back and forth between hard luggage and soft luggage, depending on type of adventure. So I'm just going to torque them down a little bit, and then rely on the Loctite and everything else. The fact that there's 4 of them and 8 bolts to hold it all together. And there we have it. Mosko soft bags, 35-liter Backcountry Panniers, installed on the Africa Twin on the Tusk racks. I think they look pretty swanky.